The 87th renewal of the Marble City Classic is tonight. B.B. Calmer hosting Sylacauga, and a guy that played in the very first Marble City Classic, Jimmy Toots Holmes, joins us this morning. Man, just think about this now. The 87th renewal, it's the final game, as we'll know it, at the old stadium.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I was talking to Rocky White just yesterday. We were talking about that stadium. I think that thing was built probably in the early 40s. So the old lady has run its course. Been a lot of football games played. You know, you got two schools playing there. Then you got junior high and B team and what have you. A lot of that thing. You've seen a lot of people come and go through the gates.
Miss Ann Hare said that you went to school there about 15 years, and so that means you played in 5 or 6 of the Marble City Classic.
Actually, Jim, I played in 3. We played on Thanksgiving Day, first time it's ever been done, only time it's ever been done. And then my final game was the day of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. So some history, it revolves around me and what we did at B.B. Calmer, of course, at Sylacauga High School. But I really do think that this thing has lost some luster.
It's not the same as it was back then.
No, it's not. I remember, gosh dog, dear friends of mine that went to Sylacauga High School, and we ran around together, and had a friend of mine, his name was Larry Taylor, called me on Thursday night before we played on Friday. He said, I love you like a brother, but I'm going to knock your head off tomorrow. So, I mean, you know, I think the kids still know each other, but over the years, the classifications and the number of kids, I really think I think Sylacauga was one of the last 12 or 15 or whatever it was. But I think you get into a numbers game, and certainly Sylacauga 5A, B.B. Calmer, a small 3A, and so the numbers play a big part in it. I think Calmer has about 23, 24 kids they dress out, where you'll probably see Sylacauga with 60 to 65 kids. So a lot of luster is gone, but still inside these kids' heart, it's a big, big football game, and there's hope. There's always hope when you tee a football up.
Got an email from a guy that you and I both know, Mike Lightsey, and he said he remembered Bill Sanders kicking a field goal on Thursday. He said he thought it was Thanksgiving Day to beat Sylacauga 9-7.
I remember that. It was Bill Sanders, but it was a night game. I think where it's Thanksgiving Day or not.
Remember he used that square toe shoe?
Oh yeah, I remember that. We had a guy named Wayne Taylor that played with me that had a square toe shoe. Those things didn't last too long. You remember the big guy that played in the Pro Bowl, Jack Dempsey, not Jack, but whatever his name was, that kicked
for New Orleans.
Yeah, 63-yard field goal. And,
Tom Dempsey.
Tom Dempsey, yeah, had that old club foot and the squared toe shoe. So they came and they gone. And
there's a lot of close games like that 9-7 game, but there's been a lot of blowouts. Sylacauga's had their way the last 12, 15 years.
Yeah, I think so. But again, I think you see, historically, after the classification change, Calmer plays them close for a while, and then you get in again to this numbers game. But you can't fault Matt Griffith. He coaches his kids to win. If he did anything else, they'd run him out of town. So, he's got to play it just like it is a 6A team he's playing.
The difference is when you played in the mid-'60s and how the game's being played today.
Well, Jim, basically, you got to block and tackle, and you do that, and most of the time the one who block and tackles the best going to win the football game. It was true back in the 60s, and it's true today. It was true 70s and 80s. The best team don't always win, but the team who blocks well and tackles well, most of the time is going to win the football game. And turnovers are then, like they are now, a very, very big part of it. And I think the team that turns it over the least will probably have a better chance to win.
Well, Sylacauga headed to the playoffs next week, and B.B. Calmer, the Tigers at one point were 4-2.
Yeah, and I think this debacle last week down in Coosa County that I think
ended up 40-19.
Well, I don't understand. We've had 2 or 3 different scores on that. I just don't understand what went wrong last Friday, but at any rate, they shot themselves in the foot and knocked themselves out of the playoffs. They would have had to have some help even if they had won, but they would have been in a lot better shape than what they are now, because tonight will wind up their season.
B.B. Comer, without their top running back tonight, he has suffered a turf toe against Central Acusa County. He won't dress tonight, and he was three-quarters of their offense. Yeah,
Tay McElrath. Tay has been a good football player for Coleman this year. Not that big, but he's quick, fast, and he don't mind running between the tackles. And you got to admire a kid who will do that. Nowadays, modern day football, a lot of kids want to do a little juking and then try to get outside, but Tay's good at that, don't get me wrong, but he'll stick his nose in right up inside.
B.B. Comer will miss him tonight. Sylacauga with that three-headed attack in their backfield.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the quarterback and Thomason and the running back, and they've got a good football team, and they're young. Last week when I did the ball game, I think they start like 2 seniors on offense, or maybe three at the most. 2, I think it is, but Matt's done a good job with those kids, and you're going to hear from him down the road, too. Next year, I know they got the Thomason kid back. And
they got just about everybody back.
Yeah. The quarterback, he's back. And I noticed last week Tallahassee kid on Thomason the whole ball game, and, boy, I'm telling you, Jackson Walker, is that his name? I believe it is. He just had a field day running the football, and, it's good recognition on his part.
Yeah. Sylacauga, the visiting team tonight, and that's another unique thing about this rivalry.
It is. Every year they alternate, home and home, and I don't guess there's not a fairer way to do it than the way they do it here. And you've never had a problem with that. Everybody's always been in agreements with being the home team one year and the visiting team the next year. I know I played in 3 of them, and of course I think we were home 2 and visitors 1, but. I'm going to tell you, it's a good classical football game for the city of Sylacauga, and for the population of this town. I know it's just a great thing for them. Back when I played, we played on Thanksgiving afternoon, and I've never, from that day to this day, seen as many people at a high school football game as they were there that day. I mean, both sides of the stands were full. People lined up around the fence.
That's when David Robertson ran the touchdown,
Yeah, he ran a long touchdown on a little simple trap play, and thank goodness Robert Rumage was on the sidelines when that happened, or he would have never made it. But we did, and we won the football game 13-12, and blocked the punt. And I can't remember whether it was Bill Lewis or Larry Tanks. One blocked it and the other picked it up and ran it in. I think Larry blocked it and Bill Lewis picked it up and ran it in. Historical football game that day. I mean, it's something that I'll take to my grave, and I'm sure David and all the guys Wayne Taylor and all those guys who played on that football team, we were probably a touchdown or so underdog, but again, as like I've touched on, all time, most of the time, the best team will win. Some of the time, they won't.
Yeah, Sylacauga, prohibitive favorite tonight against B.B. Comer. Yeah. And another unique thing about this rivalry, they're 2 blocks apart as far as schools are concerned. The railroad track splits it.
Yeah, well, they're playing that team across the tracks, and both schools say that. So, but it is divided by a railroad track. And I understand they had another big bonfire last night. I didn't attend, but that's
some things don't change, do they?
They do not, and I don't think they ever will. And the spirit from both of these schools, B.B. Comer comes in, they're 4 and 5, I think, for the year, and Sylacauga's 7 and 2, is that correct? Sylacauga is going to be the number 3 seed in their region to go down to, they're going down to South Alabama. I don't know exactly who they're
St. Paul's.
Yeah.
And that'll be a tough trip for them. But, having Coach Battle sat in that chair yesterday morning, he said, look, if we're not able to keep Sylacauga off the field, if our defense can't get off the field, which means that the same guys play defense, play offense for B.B. Comer, he said it can be ugly quick.
Oh, yeah, it could. And Mike Battles he's not a dummy. He's been around football about as long as I have, and you can see the writing on the wall. Like I say, it always gets down to numbers, and I think B.B. Comer would have to have some turnovers in key places. Sort of like the Alabama-Ole Miss game, they'd have to have some 4 or 5 turnovers, I think, to have a chance to even stay close to Sylacauga.
The 87th renewal of the Marble City Classic is tonight. B.B. Comer, the host school, taking on Sylacauga. Jimmy Holmes played in 3 of those classics down through the years, and with B.B. Comer, since Coach Bobby Overton retired, it's been tough sledding for B.B. Comer against Sylacauga.
It really has, and I don't. Again, I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but you get into numbers, and the reclassification of these schools. Sylacauga has a much more broader drawing area than does B.B. Comer, but you take 60 against 20, you gotta like the odds.
Yeah, Coach Battle said yesterday. He said what we're doing now, what we're going to continue to do is recruit out of the hallways of the high schools. Got to get some players. He said they're there. We just get them on the football field.
Well, and the way to get them there, Jim, is W's. You win, they'll come. It's just like people coming to watch a football game. You win, and they'll come. You win, and these kids will want to play. And so I overheard, as a matter of fact, I talked to Mike at the last home game Comer played, and he said that there's some kids already talking to him about coming out. And, of course, that'll be this spring. And so we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
All right, we'll see you tonight.
That's a good deal.
The 87th renewal of B.B. Comer and Sylacauga, the Marble City Classic, kicks tonight at 7 o'clock. And I know you're taking the Aggies. Is it going to be close?
I don't think so.
All right. We'll see you tonight at the stadium. More Daybreak right after this.